Hi, this is Mechanics Productions again, and in this lesson I'm going to split the drums up into two different tracks, one with the main beat and the other one with the congas. So what I'm going to do first is I go to the Stylus RMX track, click the header, I can right click and choose group tracks, or hit Command G, Control G on a PC. So now I have it in a group, and I'm going to take the effects off of the drum track and put it onto the group instead. I actually have grouped all these effects into a group by themselves. I'll show how to do that. I click the first effect that I want to group and then scroll to the last with the mouse and then hit Command G, and now they're in a little group. One thing you can do with groups is you click on this knob button here and you have macros which you can assign to any of the parameters of the devices in that group. So for example, if I wanted to map the trim level, I hit the map button here, and then if I want to map this knob to the trim level, then I click the trim level and then click map, and then up here I have the range of the values that this knob will allow me to control this between. So if I put the minimum to about halfway and then unclick the map, you'll see when I move the trim knob, it moves between -19 and 0 in volume, whereas if I move this to the full range, then it goes between -infinity and 0. Anyway, I'm not going to use that, so I will unmap. But that can be useful for putting all your controlling of different parameters in one place over a range of a lot of effects. The real reason I group these is to make it easier to move to the group from the individual track. So I'm going to drag it onto the group, and now I have Stylus RMX by itself. So now I'm going to duplicate the Stylus RMX and open up the first one, and on the first one I want to have the main rhythm, so I click solo and all you'll hear is the main rhythm now. Oh, I actually was working on this fun little dubstep rhythm idea here earlier, but I'm going to turn that off. Okay, and on the second Stylus RMX track, I'll open that up and I'll solo the congas. So now solo that, I have just the congas by themselves. Now additionally, I wanted to add some effects to the congas, so I go to the effects tab on the congas, click this arrow on this effects rack, and I choose a spring verb, and then I'm going to send that through a tape slammer, which is a type of compressor that decreases the range of volumes that the drums can have. So the lower volumes come up and the higher volumes get pushed down. And also it has saturation on it, which adds some color and warmth to the sound. So I'm going to turn that up. And then age also adds some color to the sound that makes it sound a little older. I'll turn the release up a bit, which causes the spaces between sounds to be a bit quieter. Now on the spring verb, now let's see what that sounds like. Now one thing that I want to do is make the width expand whenever a drum from the other main track is hitting. And then when there's silence between the drum beats, I want the width to go back to 0. So that way the congas will get out of the way of the beats on the other track whenever the other beats are hitting. So to do that, this plug-in stylus does have some quirks that are a little inconvenient. If I want to control some of the parameters within Stylus RMX, I have to make them available to Ableton. So to do that, I click on the parameter that I want to control, and then I click this little floppy disk icon down here, choose MIDI learn, and enable host automation. So Ableton is the host, and it's going to automate this. Next thing I need to do to access that parameter is click on this little down triangle on the Ableton representation of the Stylus plugin, and then click configure. And now I need to move the parameter that I just made available to the host. And notice it shows up here. And now I can click the configure button, and now I can control this parameter from here. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to actually automate this to correspond to the volume coming through this track. So in order to get that volume, I need to use an effect that is in Audio Effects, Modulators, Envelope Follower. So I'll drag that down, and you can see that this envelope follower is tracking the volume coming through this Stylus RMX instrument. So the next thing I want to do is click Map, and then go to the conga track and click the width of the string effect. Now the width is being controlled by the main track, and I'm going to turn the congas back on. So now you see how the width is going down to 0 whenever there's no volume coming from the main drums. If I turn this off, you'll see that it stops changing that. Now the congas are just staying in the middle all the time. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this short episode. Stay tuned for more. Take care.